The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Welcome to Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson.
Justin Spears, I like that.
With Justin Spears and Ali Farhang on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, ESPN Tucson. Brought to you by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I want to be entertaining, but I'm not stupid enough to compare myself to Ali.
What's shaking, everyone? Happy Hump Day. You're rocking with Spears and Ali right here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, ESPNTucson.com, the ESPN Tucson mobile app. Make sure you download that for free off the App Store and Google Play. And we appreciate all of our viewers on YouTube. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the Spears and Ali YouTube channel. Our numbers are getting up there.
Are they?
We're improving.
Good.
We're improving on the YouTube platform.
Hey. Good. Yeah. Making an effort, man. See, sometimes
amazing.
you get results. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing. So thank you to all the people who are investing into our Spears and Ali YouTube channel. Not literally investing, but subscribing. You're helping us out. But maybe
one day.
Maybe one day.
Let's get after it.
I mean, somebody's got like a 50,000 follower social media platform that could kind of push people to the YouTube channel.
I'm talking about sponsors.
That's what I'm saying. If you push people to the channel, then we get sponsors, and then put a little cheddar cheese in your pocket.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That doesn't sound about right.
Yeah.
That sounds fishy.
It's not fishy at all.
He's talking about money, not actual cheese.
Yeah. I'm not talking, no Swiss.
He's not talking about
talking cheddar, straight Wisconsin sharp, extra sharp cheddar.
Farmhouse
You
cheddar?
give me some farmhouse extra sharp cheddar. I don't need anything else with it. Maybe a little orange juice.
Or some summer sausage.
Oh.
Ooh, some summer sausage. Maybe a little Connaughton.
Oh,
man.
Connaughton.
Sign me up. Speaking of Connaughton, we are going to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. I always, whenever I think of the Connaughton, I just think of the bit that we did where we're like, Patrick Connaughton, his last name sounds like a spread that you put on with like some meat, some cheese, maybe on like a cracker. Maybe you could put on a burger or a sandwich. I don't know. Like what can you put Connaughton on? It's this made up spread.
It's like Vegemite.
American.
It's the American's version of Vegemite.
Is that Australian? Is it what?
So.
Yeah,
where's Vegemite? Okay.
Yeah. Men at work. Vegemite sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're gonna
sang it into existence.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, it's like when you're lining up for your government cheese out of the truck.
Yeah.
They also have as much Connaughton as you want. And everybody's like, you know what? Pass. But if you're in a pinch, a little Connaughton, there may be in the corner some tomate mate.
Yep.
let it all hang out.
You let it. Yes. I mean, summer, baby. Might as well let it all hang out. Although if you're 5'4" and you're about above 2 bills as a female, just take a look in the mirror before you get dressed in the morning. I mean, it's
Jesus.
Yeah, seriously. We've got a society now that is like, well, don't body shame me. I'm like, I'm not body shaming anybody. You have rolls among rolls just like coming out, and your jeans are, your jean shorts are way too small.
This sounds like a very personal experience.
You guys know what I'm talking about. You cannot deny this. There's like, seriously, I mean, I don't need to see your whole butt cheek. I don't. All right. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'll wear something else.
Yeah. No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all.
I'll wear something else. All right. Anyways,
when did telling the truth become shaming? Huh? Let me ask you this.
Tell us how you really
when did
feel.
just being honest become shaming? It's like you're morbidly obese by all medical definitions.
Leaning over the chasm.
And I'm like, yeah. Hey, man, I'm working on it every day too. I know you work on it, Justin.
I'm trying.
Andrew,
man.
you've been eating healthier, right?
Yeah.
I'm not wearing half shirts. I'm not wearing half shirts, right?
Yeah.
No one want to see that.
That'd be like me wearing a belly shirt.
I really want to get Flaco tattooed across my stomach.
Yeah, that'll make all the difference. You know what? If you just name it something else, then that's your truth.
Yep.
Right? Whatever, as long as you say this is my truth, then nobody else can say, well, that's actually false.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I am chic skinny. No, you're fat. It's like, just because you named it that doesn't mean that it's true, right? And Orange doesn't walk around saying, no, I'm an apple. No, you're not an apple, man. Well, don't fruit shame me. No, I'm just saying you're an apple, man. That's it. You're an apple.
And it's okay if you're an apple.
It's okay if you're an apple. And you're a rotten apple at that. All right. I don't want to eat you anymore. There's brown inside. Don't say that you're a ripe orange. And then I'm shaming you because I'm not calling you a rotten apple. Okay. That's all I'm saying. It's like, science, man, facts.
Ollie's had an up and down week, I can tell.
This was bothering him. And I just mentioned Connaughton, and all of a sudden, Ollie just exploded on air. But anyways, well, speaking of rotten apples, we got to talk about Tyrese Halliburton's dad. He was acting like a rotten apple last night.
That guy's a clown.
I know. We'll talk about that when we discuss the NBA playoffs during our next segment. We do got
good for Tyrese Halliburton, by the way.
Yes, 100%.
Calling out his own dad.
And I think Tyrese Halliburton, he can be a kind of goofy, kind of a cornball sometimes.
He's
but
awesome, man. He's awesome.
But I really, really commended him stepping up in the post-game press conference and talking about his dad getting on the court and getting into a little altercation with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And man, what a meltdown by the Milwaukee Bucks last night. But like I said, we'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit, and we'll talk some other NBA playoff storylines. And shout out to your Golden Knights, Andrew.
Yeah,
getting it done in overtime last night.
Such catharsis.
So now the series is at 3-2.
3-2 going to St. Paul.
3-2 Knights.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Good job, man. Congratulations.
I'm excited.
And Andrew made sure when I left this studio yesterday, because we have this thing here on Spears and Ali.
And they're Minnesota, the what's her name?
The Wild.
The Wild.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not down 3-2. Because our truth is we won the series and we're moving on. Sorry.
But I put together a parlay yesterday.
Yeah, he did. We did this together.
And I was like, okay, Andrew, I'm thinking about parlaying the Golden Knights. And before I could even finish saying Golden Knights, Andrew grabbed my lips and was like, the hell you are. You better take the Knights off your freaking parlay, brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, man, I won't be the kiss of death, because I have this thing where it's like whenever I bet on a team, they always lose, or I don't have any luck. So I was like, all right, Andrew, I'll do you a solid.
I'm never going to get over the image of Andrew grabbing your lips.
Yeah, just like
you're looking like a
cartoon.
That duck.
Daffy Duck?
No, Daffy Duck for sure. But what's the other duck? Howard.
Yeah,
Howard the duck.
Howard.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's levels of ducks, right?
Yeah,
if you got Daffy Duck, that's one thing. But if you really feel more strongly about the duck reference, it's Howard.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was like, all right, Andrew.
Strange movie that is.
I'm going to leave off the Golden Knights. And I was 1 for 2 on my 3-leg parlay. But I'll make sure the Golden Knights will always be off.
Wait, you're 1 and 2 or 1 for 2?
Or 1 and 2 or 1 and 2. So I won 1 game, I lost 2.
Okay,
in the parlay.
Because 1 for 2 is you won 1, you lost 1.
Yeah, I split it.
And so 1 for 2 on a 3-game parlay doesn't make any sense.
No, I was 1 and 2.
But your truth may be you won the bet. And you were going to call it.
Honestly,
this might be a theme today. DraftKings.
I'm a winner.
I had a 3-team parlay, but my truth is the 2 teams that lost actually won, and I want to be paid out. And do not bet shame me.
Do not bet shame me. And then
we had an altercation at a coffee shop or something. I know it.
Guys, there's gonna be a day where I feel no trepidation whatsoever of holding anything back of what I'm thinking. And you got just a little snippet this morning. Larry David ain't got nothing on me. Oh yeah.
He's standing in a bathrobe in front of his lawn, shaking a cane.
Just walking around Walmart. Eat a salad. You're not
go to the gym.
Don't wear tank tops. Your ass is coming out of your jeans, man.
Anyways,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
In Arizona basketball news,
and I'm gonna go to court and I'm gonna have you guys chant defense when it's my turn to present my case.
Because you're
defense. Your Honor, Ollie Farhang for the defense.
And then we go crazy.
And then I am never practicing law again.
But in Arizona basketball news, the Wildcats got a commitment earlier this morning. According to Draft Express's Jonathan Gavoni, the Wildcats land 6'11", 17-year-old forward. He's originally from Senegal, but he's playing for Real Madrid in Spain, and his name is CD Gay.
Is it Gay or Gaye?
Gaye. I think it might be Gay. CD Gay, Gaye, whatever.
We're gonna have to figure that out, man.
Yeah,
because you don't call a Gaye a gay.
Yeah,
unless they are, and that's their truth, and that's cool.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. But we probably need to figure out how to pronounce that last name. And don't count on the computer.
Would it not be Guaya?
Guaya
or Guaya?
Yeah.
Regardless of how you pronounce this guy's last name, he is
he's a big man that can run the floor. He's got a lot of talent. Kudos to Jack Murphy, because I'm going to tell you, Liam Lloyd's wedding on Sunday, Jack Murphy wasn't there. You know where he was?
Cruton.
Guy was in Spain getting this guy. Guys,
wow.
Jack Murphy, by the way, if you want to know the guy behind the guy, Jack Murphy is tireless. He is a great coach. He really relates to the kids, and his recruiting prowess is unbelievable. His absolute lack of any kind of rest and his total energy is absolutely off the charts. So I'm sure more people had something to do with this because they work as a team. But, man, Jack Murphy's a stud. We're lucky to have him at Arizona.
Well, and Tommy Lloyd has this reputation of being an international recruiter, and they still have maintained that element while also adding some really good American talent too. But the international pipeline started before Tommy Lloyd got here, because Tommy Lloyd inherited a roster that had Benedict Mathurin, that had Azuolas Tubelis, that had Christian Coloco, had all these international players. And a big part of that was because of Jack Murphy. He was there coaching with Sean Miller before Tommy Lloyd took over this team. And so getting the international players to come overseas, you know, some guys were already here in the States playing basketball, but they came from international background like Benedict Mathurin and Christian Coloco. But that started with Jack Murphy. And people talk about Tommy Lloyd getting his passport out, but I agree with you, Ali. If you want to look at kind of the unsung hero of Arizona basketball in terms of landing talent, especially international guys, you got to look at a guy like Jack Murphy. And this guy that's coming in from Real Madrid, you know, there's a really strong chance that, I mean, he doesn't play because he's only 17 years old and he's a guy that's still budding as a prospect. But I think getting him in the system, in the weight room, in your strength and conditioning program, you know, he may not be this X factor this upcoming season. And you know what? Maybe he does. Maybe he is that guy. We just don't know how he's going to fit in with this team. But it's always nice to have depth, especially in the front court.
Absolutely. And you want when you're doing roster construction, you want a good mix. You want some veterans. You want some guys that are coming in that have talent and can really vie for playing time right away. And you want some developmental guys, right? You want to develop people over time. So, man, I love our roster right now. I don't think Arizona's got any more moves to make depending on what Carter Bryant decides. I know Jaden Bradley put his name in the draft. He's coming back. He's just going in there for feedback, which he should. Smart move. But if Carter Bryant comes back, this is your roster. And if Carter Bryant does not come back, there's one more chess piece.
And I want to address that. Carter Bryant and Jaden Bradley, they were both on the NBA's official early draft entry list. And one thing that really struck me was there's 106 players in this pool, which is the lowest number of early entrants since 2015.
Oh, goodness.
Think about that.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it.
And it's down from a peak.
I wish I could raise one eyebrow right now.
With a look with inquisition.
Well, with it. Yeah. I can smell what The Rock is cooking, but I can't do it like him. I can't do it with inquisition.
He's got two eyebrows.
Pensive. I got pensive. Yeah. I'm like, he's like shock or.
But 106 players in this NBA draft pool, the lowest number since 2015, and it's down from a peak of 363 in 2021. Think about that. In a 4-year span, the most 363, and now it's at 106. And I think a huge part of that is because college players are now getting paid significantly more with revenue share, with NIL. This is the beauty of this element in college sports. I know with players bouncing around from team to team, fans, they want to root for a guy for 4 years. Unfortunately, that isn't really the case anymore. A lot of guys tend to bounce around college basketball. But I think this is so cool for college athletics because now you have these players that are getting paid via NIL, via revenue share, and they don't feel pressure to go to the NBA. Because, in years past, we've seen this with many Arizona basketball players, whether it's like, heck, going back to the Lute Olson era, Marcus Williams coming out as a sophomore, or in the Sean Miller era, he had Grant Jarrett averaging 4 points per game coming off the bench, Brandon Ashley, Nick Johnson, Raleigh Alkins, Alonzo Trier. Like, there were so many players that decided to leave and go to the NBA, and they became like second-round picks, and then guys that didn't really pan out in the NBA. And I think with NIL and revenue share, those fringe prospects, they're like, you know what? I don't feel inclined to go to the NBA. Let me stay here, collect my cheddar, playing for the Arizona Wildcats. It let me develop and then turn into a pro prospect. So I know there are some bad things that come with NIL and just kind of the current landscape of college basketball or college sports in general. But I think this right here, seeing the low number of early entrants for the NBA draft pool, I think that's a good sign for NIL.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they can, to the extent they need to, take care of their family. That's why they go to the NBA early, right? Is they want to take care of their family more often than I want to make it to the NBA. There's a little bit of mix of both of those, but more often than not, it's a want. It's a need. And so now that's diminished a little bit because you are getting revenue share. And this whole thing, the transfer portal definitely needs to be fixed a little bit. This like multiple portals thing, especially in college football, is absolutely asinine. But the NIL thing is fine. The revenue share thing is fine. Just need a little bit of guardrails around it a little bit. And I think the House settlement provides it. I'm sure there'll be some lawsuits still pending, but it's great. It's great for these kids. And I'm just going to tell you, man, being around college athletics now for as long as I have, look, I know some of you are going to disagree with me. It's like the value of a scholarship and you get to go to school and blah, blah, blah. And I hate that these kids are getting paid. Guys, these kids are not going to school, right? I mean, they're going to school, but they're not students. Their student athlete has always been a facade. These guys are full-time working, and you go on a film, you're going to the weight room, you got practice, and they're not having a college experience. So, I'm just glad that finally we're done with this whole just mirage of student athlete. These guys are like working 40 to 60 hours a week at what got them to the school. And I'm glad that the pressure of leaving early and putting it out there has been minimized by revenue share. I'm going to call it revenue share now because it's July 1st. It's revenue share, right? And NIL is truly, you get to be in a commercial with Justin Spears. What's the value of that? What's the fair market value? I mean, to infinity and beyond, buddy.
That's at least 2 cheese pizzas.
I know. Sometimes I feel like, man, I need to start paying this guy just to be able to be in his presence, right? Like, how do I get paid to be here? I get to hang out with the Justin Spears, not Justin Spears, the Justin Spears.
It's like I'm Ohio State.
You are the Ohio State University. You're a beautiful human being, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't worry. I'm just being nice to you now.
Oh,
he's just saving it up.
He's teeing me up.
Yeah.
He's teeing me up.
Yeah.
8 o'clock hour.
I'm going to speak my 8 o'clock hour. Ollie speaks his truth to Justin.
Oh, no.
No, seriously though, man, it's great. It's great. And I didn't know that 106. And I bet you, well, I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to say, if I had to guess, at more than 50% will take their names out of the NBA draft and return to school.
Maybe 2 of them are Arizona Wildcats. I mean, certainly, I think it's Jaden Bradley.
Yeah, hopefully. But you can't, when it comes to Carter Bryant, if you truly are a fan of the kid gets, if the kid gets a guarantee in the lottery, you just got to just thank him for his time here and wish him the best and root him on as he moves on. If he doesn't, late first round, I would say anywhere from 20 on. If he's like, you might get drafted 20 on, you may fall into the second round. I don't think so, but I think it'll be like 20 to whatever, 30. Come back to school. You're going to make a lot of money, and you got more of a chance to develop at U of A for your longevity in that league at Arizona than sitting on a bench for the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah. So does this, I know some people are probably going to speculate, does this addition of this guy from Spain have anything to do with Carter Bryant?
No.
Because they're different positions, but
no,
depth.
There is one more move to be made. These guys know what they're doing, and they have a plan B if Carter decides to stay in the draft for someone to be able to come in at the 3 position. Maybe they can play 3 or 4 that can play, and that just develops. So I fully believe in Tommy Lloyd and this coaching staff. They've got something up their sleeve in case either way.
All right, what do you guys think about this addition? Hit us up at 719-1490, 719-1490. What do you think about Carter Bryant's big decision? 719-1490. Talking basketball right here on Spears and Ali. Stay tuned. Spears and Ali here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM and the Spears and Ali podcast. Also, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the Spears and Ali YouTube channel today.
Please.
Good Lord, I need some more coffee. I'm still waking up. We are going to talk more about Arizona basketball and Carter Bryant, Jaden Bradley going into the NBA draft early entrant pool. We're also going to talk, some Arizona football updates as well coming up here at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. But if you want to join in and call in and talk about Arizona basketball, NBA playoffs, whatever, hit us up, 719-1490. We'd love to hear from you guys. So last night we saw the NBA playoffs, and man, what an epic collapse by the Milwaukee Bucks. They were facing elimination, and they were winning in the final minute of overtime. They had it in the bag. They were up by 8 points, or excuse me, 7 points. And then the Indiana Pacers went on an 8-0 run in like the last 30 seconds of the game to beat the Milwaukee Bucks and then advance into the NBA playoffs. And of course, the Milwaukee Bucks are coached by Doc Rivers, so not really a big surprise that the Bucks collapsed there. But since 2000, NBA teams are 943-19 in the playoffs when leading by 7 or more points with under 35 seconds left. Doc Rivers is 34-17 in these situations.
You're
damn
crazy, right?
So he's most of them then?
Yeah.
He's got a big chunk of them. Yeah, those 19 losses. Yeah, he's got 17 of them. Yeah,
Justin Justin loves him some Doc Rivers, the shade. He loves it. He loves it.
Dude, he's not like, he's been milking that 2008 championship this whole time. He's not a good coach.
Yeah.
He is not a good coach.
How often do you think he brings it up, right? Like his girlfriend's like, hey, feeling frisky tonight? Maybe 3 days ago we were together. I'm feeling a little Doc Rivers-y tonight. It's like,
I ain't showing up.
Let's talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a new season.
It's going to look good in the first half, and then the second half is going to implode.
Yeah, man. Doc Rivers, just not a good coach, man. But you know what? What do I know? I'm just some loser on the radio. He's obviously a better basketball mind than I will ever be. He's got more basketball knowledge and one pinky finger than my whole body. But my goodness, man, what's up with these collapses? Whether it's a 3-1 series lead, whether it's having a 7-point lead with 30 seconds left, like it's the gift that keeps on giving. But the Indiana Pacers, they end up beating the Milwaukee Bucks 119-118 in overtime, despite a 30-point, 20-rebound, and 13-assist performance by Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, thank you, Giannis, for hitting my over. You were my big bet last night on the combo points, rebounds, and assists.
It's great.
So Giannis is. Let me ask you this, Justin, because now the talk is going to be about, does Giannis Antetokounmpo stay in Milwaukee, or does he say, look, I want out because I want to have a chance to win championships, right? And he's the same age as Kareem. He's 27 when Kareem left Milwaukee and got traded to the Lakers.
I like the way you think.
I wish I don't know.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
You are the general manager of the Washington Wizards, and guess what you got? You got the draft lottery #1 pick, Cooper Flagg, baby, coming to DC, and Milwaukee says, "Hey, Giannis wants out. How would you feel about trading your #1 pick for Giannis? Would you do it? And who's adding stuff either way to make the trade happen?" So there's 2 questions.
Oh man, because I wouldn't do it straight up because Giannis Antetokounmpo is such a proven player,
right,
at this level. So
Milwaukee's going to get something more than just the #1 pick from the Wizards, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't know what else they have to offer.
Picks,
just picks.
Yeah,
like
that horrible logo,
Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I would do that. But then again, Cooper Flagg is this great player. I mean, he was NBA ready coming out of high school last year. I mean, he was, botting Anthony Davis.
Cooper Flagg is
playing for Team USA.
You're paying him much less than Giannis, but Giannis is a generational player. And look, when you own a sports franchise, believe it or not, man, most owners that own sports franchises, winning and losing is secondary to selling tickets and making money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not too hard to fathom. There's a lot of owners out there that winning Super Bowls, NBA championships, Stanley Cups, Major League Baseball championship. I mean, look at Pittsburgh, Bob Nutting. Not Bob Nutting. What's his name? Yeah, Bob Nutting. He doesn't care about winning championships. He just cares about making money.
The thing is, though, if you're Milwaukee, you only explore these trades if Giannis is like, get me the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Because if you trade away Giannis just straight up without him like publicly saying, or at least going behind closed doors,
you'd have to
and
move
saying,
to Dallas.
Get me out. And that's what I'm saying. You're going to have another Nico Harrison Dallas Mavericks situation. And if you're worried about selling tickets, trading away the player, the only player that, has won you a championship, how is that going to sit with the fans of Milwaukee? I don't know.
I mean, the Lakers, if he wants out, he should offer everything. And Giannis also can leverage the situation to say, I'm only going to play with these 2 teams or 1 team.
Yeah.
But man, hey, I love me some Austin Reeves, but if you get Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura and 2 first-round picks, that's not going to get it done. But man,
I don't know, man. They look at what they gave up for Luka.
I know, but that's
like a bag of chips.
An aberration, right? But I tell you what, if we get the Shams bomb of like Giannis has been traded to the Lakers, I will meet you at Taco Bell.
Yeah. Give me 2 cold beefy
and I'm buying,
fires.
dude. I'm buying. Yeah. And I'm packing like 2 bottles of beer in my pocket too. It's like 1 for you, 1 for me. We're drinking right in Taco Bell.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
But Giannis, the big news around him was after the Milwaukee Bucks were eliminated last night, Tyrese Halliburton's dad stepped on the court, like actually went on the court in the middle of the floor and was just yelling at him.
What's on his towel?
And
is it Halliburton's face on the towel? Because he was like showing the towel to him.
Oh,
Halliburton made the game-winning shot. I'm guessing it was his son on the towel.
The shroud of Tyrese.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
shroud of Tyrese. That was funny.
That's 1 more for the board.
Yeah.
Put it on the board.
Yeah,
and now double digits for Andrew.
I know. Yeah.
But Tyrese Halliburton's dad, Giannis Antetokounmpo, got into it last night, and Tyrese Halliburton went in the post-game press conference and said, listen, my dad is not in the right here. I got to have a talk to him. He just can't represent us like that. So kudos to Tyrese Halliburton for holding his parent accountable. And Giannis Antetokounmpo had some very interesting things to say about that altercation. Listen to this.
And this is the last time I'm going to say it. I won't talk a lot. We lost the game. It doesn't really matter. One thing I'll say is that I believe like being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, you got to tag, and it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won the championship. They haven't. Okay, and that doesn't say anything. I'm not trying to minimize their effort, but I remember when I won, my mom that she's never missed the games from February 11th or 13th when she came in Milwaukee against the Knicks. She's never missed a game. When we won the championship, I remember my mom, she was scared to cross. She was like, am I allowed to come and hug my son? I see, except now my brother does media. For this year, he wants to come back and play. But like, except in that, you've never seen my family like see courtside. See, this is not something that we do. We don't. I try to keep my family away from the game. But losing the game, emotions run high. Having a fan, which at the moment I thought he was a fan, but then I realized he was Tyrese's son, which I love. Tyrese, I think he's a great competitor. He was his dad, sorry. Coming in the floor and showing me his son a towel with his face. This is what we do. This is what we effing do. This is the F we do. This. I feel like that's very, very disrespectful. You know, my dad, if you guys go and ask and learn, my dad's not with us no more. My dad used to come in the family room and was the most respectful person ever. You know, when you come from nothing and you've worked your whole life to sell stuff in the street, and your whole life you'll be scared of the police of deporting you and sending you back to your country. You have to protect your kids with all means. You create this mentality of being humble your whole life, to not kind of disrespect anybody, not make the tension high, the emotions high, so anybody can snitch on you, say something bad about you. So when he came here, I remember I was like, Dad, why are you so humble? Why you go to the family room? You don't even say a word. You sit in the back. Why are you like that? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry. That's how I grew up. That's what I had around. So when I see other dads, which don't disrespect me, maybe if my son play basketball, I might be in the court. I might be the one on the court, and like 20 years later, you can play this interview and say, Giannis, you're contradicting yourself. But we'll see in 20 years. But I'm talking about right now how I feel. You know, having somebody's dad, which I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his son, and I'm happy that he's happy for his son. That's how you're supposed to feel. But coming to me and disrespecting me and cursing at me, I think is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Okay? And I'm not the guy that points fingers, because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches. So I don't want to say something, for him to get fined or anything. But it's not respectful. I talked with him at the end, and I think we're in a good place.
Giannis, man, great stuff there. Gotta be humble in victory.
The most likable superstar maybe in any sport right now, who speaks with a level of intelligence that a lot of people can learn from. And if you're a parent and you have a son or daughter that excels at a sport, and you ever say the words, "This is the way we do it," you're a clown. It has nothing to do with you. Like, you're a spectator who has a relative who's competing at the highest level. So be a spectator. It's not you. And, you see it a little bit too often, where parents feel that they are part of the team or part of the process or part of the wins and losses. No, you're not. You're not. It's not you. So I just wish that, in Germany, they have like youth games. They don't allow the parents to come.
Mm-hmm. It's great, man.
I'll tell you what. Do you know who the happiest? I've said this before, and I'm speaking my truth right now. You know who the happiest coaches in America are? The ones that coach orphanages, because there's no parents.
Jesus.
Like, parents need to really check themselves. Yeah. You need to conduct yourself with a level of restraint and respect for people. It's not you. And how many videos do we see every single week of a parent getting into it with a referee, or parent coming on the court? It's at all levels. Maybe, just maybe, at least one person is going to see what happened last night and maybe reflect on themselves and their own conduct and be like, you know what? I don't want to be like that. And that's the best we can hope for. But it's too much. It's too much right now. Let kids, you gotta let your kids, be on their own. And not,
even when they're adults.
Well, especially when they're adults. Especially when they're adults, right? So, I was just talking to a really good friend of mine last night about this. There's a time where you just become like your kid's consultant. You can't make everything happen for them. They got to go get that job. They got to go figure out, who they're going to call and what they're going to do, and how to make their way through life. Because if you don't allow that, then you're enabling them to always be dependent, and they're never going to be able to navigate this tough world on their own. So that's just, it's an epidemic in the United States right now. It's something that very much frustrates and pisses me off. And I just wish that we could, as a nation, whatever you believe in, whatever, red, blue, green, black, whatever, just understand that you're doing your kid no favors by continuously trying to be part of the show or trying to make everything happen and controlling everything. So good for Giannis, man. And I think everything that came out of his mouth was just absolutely spectacular.
Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson is presented by the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Tucson Federal Credit Union. So we were just talking about the NBA playoffs and the whole incident with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Giannis getting into it with Benedict Mathurin too.
Oh, I saw that.
Former Arizona Wildcat.
Yeah.
Not sure what that was all about, but
God, they just need to allow fighting in the NBA.
it'd be nice.
They really do.
It'd be nice. Giannis came over and like grabbed the back of Benedict Mathurin's neck, like
no, he palmed his head like a basketball.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like he like sunned him.
You know what
Did he
fighting
call
in the
his
NBA
girlfriend
looks
a mean
like?
name too?
You know what fighting in the NBA looks like?
What?
You know,
Slap
there's a
fights like
fence
this?
between houses and there's two dogs that are just barking at each other.
Mhm.
It's like, oh no, I'll beat you up. No, I'll beat you up. Okay, and then it's like you're looking for the guy to break it up, right?
Yeah.
Where's my breakup guy? I mean,
See that, and then they write a news article about it, and that's all they talk about the next day.
yeah.
Two dogs barked at each other across the fence.
Yeah,
I'm like, punch each other.
that's right.
Just punch each other.
right.
Just do it. 2 minutes in the penalty box.
Here's a complete non-story, and then our next segment, we're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders, LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, and
Are the Dallas
the
Cowboys
Dallas
back?
Cowboys back. Yeah.
What are their Super Bowl
your
chances?
programming preview for ESPN.
Yeah, and I hope this resonates and it gets to him. But Skip Bayless, you're like the worst thing that ever happened to sports. Like I don't know why you're on the air or why people watch you. You're not entertaining. And dude, a little bit less plastic on your face because you're starting to look like a dried prune.
And honestly, I'd have to put Stephen A. Smith in that category too. Like I think Stephen A. Smith, I don't know, he's kind of like the Wendy Williams for dudes. Like he's just like
Wendy Williams.
Yeah, you don't know Wendy Williams, great talk show host.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Well,
I kind of know what he's talking about. This is somebody that is able to enjoy daytime TV.
Yes.
This is what
Justin?
Justin.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean,
He can
she's
work and have daytime TV on. So now when we know what he's watching, he's watching those stupid talk shows while he's like typing about some some storyline in sports about
Justin's writing transfer stories and he's watching The View.
The View. Yeah. Honestly, welcome to a Wednesday afternoon in the Spears household.
the one thing I'll give Stephen A. Smith though is
Whoopi.
he goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes he he's got a platform where he's talking about like things that are substantive, but then he's always got to put a foot in the pool of tabloid sports.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because I actually think Stephen A. Smith is pretty smart.
He is.
And I think he talks about provocative things that are worth talking about. But, I think a lot of sometimes we don't have this problem, right? Nobody at Lotus tells us we really want you to talk about these topics because they're provocative and it get the ratings and the clicks.
Gets the people going.
You do a good job of that all by yourself. No, but nobody's dictating anything to us. But like at ESPN, they're telling them,
Yeah.
we need you
Talk about the Cowboys.
Hey, it's July. And we need you to talk about, are the Cowboys back and anything LeBron James. And now we've got another thing to the poo-poo platter of tabloid sports. Get ready for it, folks. Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. I'm just telling you right now. We need an alternative. ESPN has jumped the shark.
But I think
Jump the Shedeur.
Jumped the Shedeur.
But yeah, like Stephen A. Smith calling, this whole LeBron Bronny situation, calling him like a shameful father. And like, LeBron, you have to question yourself as a father for putting Bronny in this situation. And then the second Michael Jordan's kid gets arrested for possession of cocaine and DUI, crickets. Like, Okay, you want to talk about being a shameful father? Okay, scold Michael Jordan for his kids.
Scared.
But
scared.
But yeah, because Michael Jordan put the freaking fear of God into this guy.
Yeah.
And so I don't get it, man. But
then going on every platform you can possibly find to continue to talk about the interaction between you and LeBron at the game. He's a can I say the word whore?
Sure.
He's a media whore.
Sure.
That's what he is. He's a attention grabbing media whore. And that's when I was like, I'm done with Stephen A. Smith. Because he basically went on Nickelodeon and PBS Kids to talk about his interaction with LeBron James at the Laker game.
PBS Kids.
Yeah.
Not far off.
Yeah.
All right, but these NBA playoffs are continuing.
Did you dump that
later on today?
I did just out of an abundance of caution.
Okay.
You never know. You'd rather be safe than sorry. But we got the NBA playoffs continuing today. Will the Lakers figure out a way to stay in the series, or are they going to Cancun later on this week?
I'm betting on Lakers tonight. I think they make it 3-2, go back to Minnesota, and then it's just one game. All you got to do, if you can get tonight done, then you just put everything you got into Game 6 at Minnesota. You were right there both games, and if it goes Game 7 at LA, it's on, baby. So, I'm just telling you, I'm betting on the Lakers tonight. I think they're going to get it done. I think Luka has a big game, and then we go. We're back to Minnesota.
Let's talk about this game and more NBA playoffs coming up next. Stay tuned. We've got a twofer on NBA playoffs tonight. We have the Golden State Warriors visiting the Houston Rockets. That series is currently in favor of the Warriors at 3-1. And then you got the Minnesota Timberwolves against the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. And this may be a stupid question, Ali, but which team do you feel better about with their backs up against the wall, the Houston Rockets or the Los Angeles Lakers?
The Lakers, because I'm still trying to figure out what offense Houston is running, because it's
so are they.
It's very ASU-esque kind of run and gun.
It is painful to watch at times. I mean, I know our guy, the robber baron, Van Vliet, had a good game. Fred Van Vliet. He had
7 threes.
Yeah, I mean, the steel magnets have nothing over the robber baron, Fred Van Vliet. But I mean, it's just like, Jalen Green's the most, he's the most, I guess, talented scorer on that team. And like, it's just, you're not running anything for him. He's just kind of hanging out on the side, in the corner. I'll take Jimmy Buckets and Steph Curry over that team anytime. So, I mean, the Lakers, at least, Edie Udoka. What is that?
Ime Udoka?
Ime Udoka. He's a good coach for Houston.
He is.
But it's to win, they got to make it a street brawl.
Yeah.
And the reason I think Houston's going to win tonight is I think Golden State's like, we're up 3-1. We've got an older roster, and it's a short rest between games 4 and 5. I think you may see kind of Golden State take their foot off the pedal tonight and get prepared for Game 6 back in the Bay Area. Lakers are at home. They got this is it. It's do or die. So I like both teams that are down 3-1 getting the win tonight. Maybe a little parlay Houston Lakers.
This game between Minnesota and the Lakers is interesting because I think the second half we're going to see JJ Redick make those right adjustments. I don't think we're going to see the same 5 playing the entire second half like we saw the other night.
You know why he did that, right?
Why?
Lakers played Game 4 on Sunday.
Yeah.
And he knew that he had an extra day of rest with the next game on Wednesday.
So just ride with your dogs?
It's like, let's get the home court back and let's ride with my best 5. Now, you can criticize coaches all day, and if Lakers would have won that game, it's like, look at JJ Redick, man. Playing all 5 guys,
genius.
All 24 minutes in the second half. Genius. You know who else did that and won? The Nuggets, right? In Game 3 or 4 against the Clippers. So I get what he's doing, but man, you got guys, you got a 40-year-old man that's playing out of his mind and doing incredible things between the third and fourth quarter. Maybe give him a 2-minute rest on that bench.
Well, and that was the one thing that was concerning to me is LeBron looked great every step of the way, even late in that second half. I'm like, man, this guy is 40 years old and he's still playing at this level. And then meanwhile, you have a Luka Doncic who's supposed to be in the prime of his career at 25 years old, and he's got hands on his knees, looking just absolutely gassed. And I'm like, 40 years old, 25 years old. one looks like they're in the prime of their career. Meanwhile, one looks like they're 40. And I tell you what, Luka looked like the 40-year-old.
Yeah, The Rock, Justin Spears. I mean, age is one thing, but LeBron's in shape. Now, to be fair, LeBron scored, I think, 24 points in the game, and he scored like 20 of them in the first half. Now, he made 2 incredible defensive plays in the second half, but
he's been awesome defensively this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think the best bet, if you got any kind of mobile app betting device, is LeBron James 1 block. That's my bet tonight. LeBron James 1 block. You'll get it like at minus 115 or minus 135. I'll take a look later, but I think that it's just Luka's going to need a rest. LeBron's going to need a rest. You're going to have to play those guys one at a time at some points, but we'll see what happens. I think for the first time since Phil Jackson, I am 100% in and committed to the Lakers head basketball coach, JJ Redick. I just really like everything about him. I think he's really smart. I like that he holds his players accountable.
Including LeBron,
everybody. I mean, look, when he calls a timeout when, we have like the 3 straight trips down the floor with turnovers, and he just like comes off like pissed off and like, what the F are we doing, guys? Like, I like that. It's like and players want that. Players, if you're a player that wants to excel, you want to be coached. The players that don't want to be coached are the players that don't need to be on your team. And frankly, again, not to make this the ESPN tabloid sports thing, but it's like I think a lot of the issue with like a guy like Shedeur Sanders is when a coach held him accountable for not studying what they had given him before their interview. When if Shedeur Sanders, if it's true, what he said was, well, maybe I'm not the guy for this team. That's not good, man. That's not good.
That's a problem.
You know what that gets you? Drafted in the 5th round.
I was going to say.
By the Browns.
All right, that'll do it for hour number 1 of Spears and Ali.
The Browns. The GM just admitted yesterday that they didn't know that they had to decide or not whether they're going to exercise the 5th-year option on Kenny Pickett when they traded for him.
Poor Kenny Pickett, man. What did he do to deserve this? All right, coming up next in hour number 2, we're going to talk about Arizona basketball and Carter Bryant's big decision.
And they signed Deontay Johnson.
This Hum Day episode of Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast is presented by the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Tucson Federal Credit Union. Better than a bank. It's better than your bank.
Yeah. Move your accounts over.
Yes, sir. My guy, Matthew Gaspari over there and his team.
I'm just saying,
Tucson Federal Credit Union.
When it comes to my money, if
your cheddar, your dinero,
I'm not calling a 1-800 number if I need something. I want to know who I'm talking to. I want to know how to get a hold of them, and I want them to call me back. And I'm not pressing 1 for this, 2 for that, and 3 for something else. I want to be able to speak to a human being that actually cares about my account and will have that personal interaction. And that's why I personally bank with and endorse Tucson Federal Credit Union.
Ollie, later on in this hour, I want to get your thoughts on this whole Bill Belichick situation. So that's going to be coming up at 8:25.
Sweet.
I very interested to get your take on this.
We're not talking about that.
Ew, boy. And honestly, ever since that CBS interview, it has only gotten worse for our guy, Bill Belichick. As a matter of fact, I am certain that this Miss Jordan Hudson girl is the one who benched Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. The more I think about it. Like she seems to be calling all the shots in Bill Belichick's life.
No, I can tell you that's not true because when that Super Bowl happened, she was 11.
Oh, jeez. Damn. All right. And we'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. We'll also talk about the Arizona Cardinals and kind of recap their NFL draft and, talk about what's ahead with them. Also talk about the relationship with Patrick Peterson, how that's getting patched up, right? Patrick Peterson had a bad ending to his time with the Cardinals, and now, the Cardinals legend, and the Cardinals seem to be making it work. And we'll talk about that with Bo coming up at 8:40. But we have some Arizona basketball news, Ali. The Wildcats added a 6'11" forward earlier this morning. It was like I got the push alert from Jonathan Gavoni from ESPN at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So it was an overseas commitment. So it happened in the early hours of this morning, but
did you get the buzz like right on your heart? Did you feel like something
I felt like there was a disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
So I was like,
because
recruiting news.
We know you go to bed hugging your phone. So I just thought did you think that something was wrong with you from a health standpoint when you feel buzzing in your chest?
I will say this, maybe I'm a little weird, but I am a little weird. But when I notice that my phone is at a good percentage, like if it's like 90 or above, I don't put it on the charger. And as a matter of fact, I have it like right next to me, right next to my face.
You need to like put your phone away when you go to bed.
Well, I want to hear my alarm.
That's fine. Just put it on the nightstand.
You need an inch from your face to hear your alarm.
Yeah. So I mean, I mean, my volume is up, but
that's not weird. That's unhealthy. I'm just telling you, man.
Now I do like sleep in the center of my bed, so you know it's a big bed. It's a king size bed, so there's plenty of room.
Right next to your face.
Well, I wouldn't say like right next to my face, but it's in the corner of my bed. I don't have it on my nightstand, but it's definitely closer to me.
If you really want to do it the right way, you need to have to get up out of your bed in order to get your phone.
You know, that's I've heard that theory.
It's not a theory,
or
it's a fact.
Method.
It's my truth.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise,
it's my truth.
I'm just going to tell you, I know for a fact that if you have it on your bed, there are times in the night that you look at your phone, you pick it up and you check it, and then you go back to bed. I know you do that.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't. I don't. I really don't.
Okay.
As soon as I'm in bed, I am in bed until I wake up the next morning.
Just put it on the nightstand, and you're fine, man. That's your space now. It's your bed.
Yeah.
You live the rest of your 18 hours a day or 16 hours a day connected to devices because you got sports journalism FOMO, and you feel like the freaking transfer cornerback from Kennesaw State, if you're not the first one to report it at 2 a.m. in the morning, that you're missing something.
I'm letting you guys down.
Yeah. So just put it on your nightstand, dude, and then you're just going to be okay.
Well, I didn't get this push alert coming out of my sleep. I was driving here, I think.
At 5 in the morning?
Not 5 in the morning. It honestly, it was like closer to 6 o'clock. I don't know when exactly it was announced, but this guy, CD Gay, or Gaye, however you pronounce his last name. Our guy, CD, he is 6'11", 17 years old, with a 7'4" wingspan.
Yeah.
So he's a raw developing prospect, but the dude, he's originally from Senegal, and he played for Real Madrid. So he played overseas, played against some really good talent. I'm not really sure how he's going to fit in with Arizona's front court because, you know, you're adding Koa Pete, you're bringing back Mo Krivas, you still have Toby Awaka, who's just an absolute force down there. So there's some players that are ahead of him right now. But again, this guy could be the next great big and comes in and makes an impact for the Arizona Wildcats. I don't know what he's going to look like as a freshman, but it's always nice to have depth, especially at that front court. And I kind of look at him like maybe like the next Emmanuel Stephan, right? He's not going to be a key contributor, but he's going to be right there in the mix and could play in a pinch.
If I had to guess, man, 6'11", 17 years old. I mean, shoot, in another year he could be 7'2", right? Who knows if he's done growing. But a guy like him, a guy like Bryce James, those guys to me, they point to redshirt development, and be really good practice players that make the rest of your team really good. So I don't know. I've only seen a couple clips of him. I would say he's a rim runner right now. He is really good running the court.
Really good defender.
But
shot blocker.
I would not. I would imagine that he's a developmental player, just like Bryce James is, and you're not going to see those guys on the court for Arizona basketball. And if you do, then this means that we've unfortunately run into some injuries. I don't think those guys are going to get on the court.
All right, we're talking Arizona basketball here to begin hour number 2 of Spears and Ali. What do you think about Carter Bryant's decision? Jaden Bradley, he's also in that NBA draft entry pool. I think he's probably going to come back, but you never know. The roster is in a really good spot right now, but of course, there's still a couple of moving pieces that we need to address. So if you want to talk Arizona basketball with us, we'd love to hear from you. Call in at 719-1490. 719-1490. Let's take a phone call real quick. We got our guy Viking Tony joining the show. What's up, Tone?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Hey, listen, I would not sleep with that phone because there's a lot of uranium and all sorts of other little minerals in there that cause cancer. So do yourself a favor, put the phone away like your colleagues are telling you. Just put it away. Just do it for your health. Anyway, I know you talked about basketball, but I went to buy season tickets for the football season. And I know it's not the topic of the day, but if you were to forecast and look at your crystal ball, what can I expect from my U of A football team this year as a diehard fan?
I tell you what, they're going to score more than 30 points per game, which is not something they did last year. Yeah, they only scored for football. They only scored more than 30 points once last year, and that was the season opener against New Mexico. Outside of that, they had the second worst scoring offense in the Big 12. And so far, what I have seen in spring ball is that this new offense with Seth Dagey, the up-tempo, no huddle, get the ball out of Noah's hands quickly. You know, are they going to be one of the better teams in the Big 12? Heck, I don't know. Like, it's possible, right? ASU, they went from being a preseason dead last team in the Big 12 standings to then winning the Big 12 and going to the college football playoff. So Arizona, they're not going to have really any expectations going into this upcoming season, but they can exceed those expectations. And I think that the fact that 5 out of the first 6 games are at home really gives Arizona an advantage. I mean, 7 games are at home this season for Arizona. So with some home cooking, you take care of business at home. I think Arizona's going to have a better 4-8 better season than what they had last year. And I think, honestly, like I said, the offense is going to be a step in the right direction. Yes, you lose Tetero McMillan. You lose Jonas Savianaya, one of the better offensive linemen that Arizona has produced in the last several decades. But I think collectively, the receiver group is much faster and better than what we saw last year. Even though you lose T-Mac, I like the additions that they made in the transfer portal. These guys are very fast. And I think Seth Dagey, he's going to look at the personnel. He's going to look at the talent that he has available. And he's going to tailor the offense around all of their strengths. He did this last year at Marshall, right? When you think about like his background, he's an air raid guy coming from a Mike Leach system. He learned everything he knows from playing under Mike Leach. But yet Marshall had more rushing yards than passing yards last year because that was just what was better for the offense. So Seth Dagey's going to do whatever is better for the offense. It's not going to be like Dino Babers and Matt Atkins last year where they were trying to fit a square peg through a round hole. It's going to be all around Arizona's strengths. And even if, the protection, they still need to figure that out, how the offensive line is going to look. If the protection isn't what they want it to be, they're still going to figure out ways to get the ball out of Noah's hands quickly rather than just Noah reading these long developing plays and then ultimately either getting sacked or throwing the ball out of bounds. The offense is not going to be as stagnant as it was last year, and that's going to be a step in the right direction. Are they going to be world beaters? I don't know. But I think the offense is going to be way more exciting. And you know what? I know Arizona football fans, they don't want to hear about moral victories, but wouldn't you rather lose 49-45 than 49-7? Like, don't you want to lose in exciting fashion? I know Arizona fans, they don't want to hear about losing, but I think when Arizona loses next season, they're not going to get their ass kicked like they did in 2024.
Wow, thank you. I mean, I'm excited, and now I can go to my friends and sound somewhat intelligent about the football season. Thank you, Justin.
Yes, sir.
And don't sleep with that phone, please.
I'll listen to you guys. I'll be better at that.
Thank you, Viking Tony. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
And sometimes you just need some perspective in life, right? Like, I don't have it all figured out. So, if I'm doing something that's bad for my health or something that looks a little odd, I want my people in my corner to be like, hey, Justin, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to eat cheeseburgers with waffle as your bread. I mean,
whoa.
I think I messed up and gave him an idea he wants to try now.
You ever had a donut burger?
No, man, I haven't.
I don't know why I asked you. You ever had a donut burger, Justin?
I have not.
They're good.
Yeah.
You had the burger with peanut butter on it, though.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I definitely needed to tell you guys.
Ollie. Join us.
No, why?
I don't know. You get Flacco tattooed on your stomach just like that.
Yeah. It's just like,
That means skinny in Spanish for anybody who doesn't speak
I know.
Spanish.
And I had quite an opinion of people saying I'm speaking my truth, but it's just false. So I can't tell you. So I can't be honest with you. And if I'm being honest with you, you think I'm shaming you.
You're very honest with me off the air.
I am, man.
And on the air.
I was like, look, there's roles of. If I lift your shirt off, if I took your shirt and put it to your breast, and there's a flabberlanch, then maybe you shouldn't wear that size shirt.
Oh man,
maybe your shorts shouldn't show both your ass cheeks, right? It's just I'm not going to enable you to say, well, I am skinny. I'm like, no, you're 5'4" and 310. That's literally the definition of morbidly obese by every medical journal that was ever produced in the history of mankind.
You're a butterball, brother.
Yeah,
but anyways,
don't be confused with butterbean.
I would have a lot of talks with people at the Pima County Fair.
But going back to what we were talking about earlier regarding Arizona basketball, some people will think, okay, adding this new player from overseas, does this mean that Carter Bryant is officially a goner? I wouldn't say that just yet.
Mutually exclusive.
Yes.
Completely independent. Has nothing to do with Carter Bryant.
And Carter is, still figuring some things out, whether he wants to turn pro or if he wants to come back to Arizona. Like Ollie said earlier, him and Jaden Bradley are two Arizona Wildcats that are in that 2025 NBA draft entry pool. And one thing I found very interesting is that there are 106 early entrants for this upcoming NBA draft. And 106, that's like, man, that's a lot of people. However, that is the lowest number since 2015. The lowest number of early entrants in a decade. And now you're starting to see the effects of revenue sharing.
Yeah.
NIL, because these players, they don't feel so pressured to take care of their families and go chase the bag, even if they are a second round pick. We've seen so many Arizona players, great Arizona players, where you're like, man, they should have came back. Man, if only they came back for another year. And I can go down the whole list. Like when I think about, kind of like the one and done era, Sean Miller was the head coach in that time frame. And, you had, guys like Raleigh Alkins going to the NBA draft. They had no business going because they were, a second round pick to maybe even undrafted. Alonzo Trier was in that conversation too. And if NIL and revenue sharing was in place then, I guarantee Raleigh Alkins and Alonzo Trier would have came back for another season at Arizona, because
or transferred to another school who would have paid him, right?
Exactly.
I mean, maybe like a top 5 all-time U of A basketball names, Chance Comanche. I mean, the guy didn't even play really, and he went to the NBA draft. And it's the Tyrese Halliburton fathers of this world and these families that were pushing him to do it because this is how we do it. And this is for our money. And it's like, no, that's your kid, man. And, the trusting the process and letting your kid go through adversity and development and hard things. We just don't see enough of it these days. But maybe one of the silver linings of NIL revenue sharing is these kids don't feel so, I mean, they're still going to be pressured by their families. I mean, whatever they're getting, it's like, oh, how much money did we make? It's like, no, man, how much money did I make? Right. Now I understand, like your parents, if they invested a lot in you, you want to help them. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, there was a player that got drafted by the Denver Broncos, a defensive back from Texas. And he's like, could you put me on speakerphone? Because I want to thank you all because you just changed my mom's life, my family's life, because they come from humble beginnings. I get all that, but it's the parenting these days is just we need a refresher course, right? Yeah. And I think that these kids staying in school and not being pressured because of economic reasons, I think it's a good byproduct of revenue sharing and NIL.
I think it's a win-win for both the NBA and college basketball, because now you have these players who are staying and are a little bit older, more polished. So the college basketball product is better. And then when these guys go on to play in the NBA, they're in their early to mid 20s, not these 18 to 19-year-old prospects that you don't really see their potential until they're close to their second contract in the NBA.
Yeah, good point.
So I think this is good.
But I mean, NBA evaluators are still going to be like, well, he's 21. Has he reached his ceiling?
Yeah.
I mean, how many of you out there reach your ceiling at 21? I mean, I mean, unless you're like, oh, I won a state championship at San Dimas High, and I'm living off that glory for my next 40 years with my receding hairline. Most people are not reaching their peaks at 21. So
go Golden Chipmunks.
Yeah. I sell used cars, but I still got my championship rings. San Dimas High School football rules. I mean, there's a
coach would have put me in fourth quarter.
Yeah,
we would have won state, no doubt about it.
The receding hairline San Dimas High School football guy, they won. He's got that ring, and he wears it every day. And he peaked at 20. He peaked at 18. Right?
I'm just thinking of Friday Night Lights, when they're at that burger spot, and that guy who has never left Odessa, Texas. He's like, hey guys, bring him home. This is all that matters.
Yeah.
It's like, there's other things in life than winning state championships, guys.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Yeah.
So,
like national championships.
I mean, back to my point, though, it's like,
bring him home.
You're going to draft a kid that's 19, 18 years old, that's unproven. And then, a kid that is like Pella Larson, Peyton Pritchard. It's like, oh, well, he went to school for 3 years, and we're going to, maybe he's reached his developmental ceiling. But those are the kids that end up playing 12 years. The TJ McConnells. Those are the guys that are important cogs to your team. And you draft this, 18-year-old Lithuanian that, can't chew gum and walk at the same time and look like a baby giraffe coming out of the womb. And then you like, oh, well, but he's got great skills, and he's got the all the measurables. And that's why you get fired. So
Peyton Pritchard, man, NBA Sixth Man of the Year.
Dude,
how about that?
Second round pick.
I love it. All right, coming up next on Spears and Ali, it's not looking good for the greatest NFL head coach of all time in Bill Belichick. Let's talk about it coming up next. Welcome back. Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast. So yesterday we briefly talked about it. Bill Belichick, the greatest NFL head coach of all time.
With Brady.
Yes, with Tom Brady. Let's include that fact. But, man, 6-time Super Bowl winner, one of the greatest football minds of all time, created one of the greatest, if not the greatest dynasty in NFL history in the New England Patriots. And right now he's the head coach of North Carolina. But as we all know, he's got this beautiful 24-year-old girlfriend named Jordan Hudson. And Jordan Hudson's making some headlines because Bill Belichick, during his interview with CBS Sunday Morning, she kept interrupting. And one of the questions that she interrupted and made sure that Bill did not talk about was how the two met. And my issue with that, as a lot of people probably feel the same way, is how the hell are you going to be posting pictures of you guys doing yoga on the beach? He's wearing a fisherman's outfit. You're dressed up as a mermaid. You're doing all these quirky couple photos, and you want to be as public as you can. Was it the Hall of Fame ceremony when he showed up in the nice red jacket, had all of his rings, and she showed up looking very beautiful in a dress?
Wasn't it the ESPYs or something?
Or maybe it was the ESPYs. Yeah. But they've been very public with their relationship.
And somebody the host made a joke about it, which I thought was very funny.
What?
I can't remember what the joke was, but it was something like,
you guys are out there.
Yeah,
you guys are all.
Congratulations to Bill Belichick being here at the ESPYs, Hall of Fame coach, 6-time Super Bowl champion, and just got here from prom with his girlfriend, something like that.
And he talked about how their relationship is all over InstaFace.
Yeah,
right, because that's what Bill Belichick calls the social media apps. And the interviewer asked him, "How did you two meet? You're 73 years old. She's 24. How did you guys meet? I'm curious, how the lovely couple connected and found each other." And she says, we're not talking about that. And she's just got this smug look, like how dare you ask that question? Now, it would be inappropriate if she was just kind of behind the scenes. She was the 24-year-old girlfriend that was just the supportive girlfriend. But one thing that I have gathered reading stories, looking at notable reporters, is that she has kind of taken on the role as not only Bill Belichick's CEO, but like the CEO of North Carolina football. She's got her fingerprints on everything. She's included in emails. She is out at football practice. If something rubs her the wrong way. She's like, no, don't do that. Bill Belichick actually pushed for Hard Knocks to come out and do a college football version of it. They were going to have a college football version of Hard Knocks at North Carolina, and Bill Belichick wanted that. And it's not happening. Why? Because Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend decided to shut it down. How the hell are you going to tell Bill Belichick, of all people, heck, a head coach in general of a prominent college football program, how are you going to tell him what is right and what is wrong? I'm sorry, honey. You got to keep your fingers out of this cookie jar. Go figure out something else. You do not tell me how to run my damn football program and what you think is best for North Carolina football. It's one thing if you don't want to talk about your relationship or make it public, but she's actually chiming in on football decisions. What are we doing here? And after seeing this interview with her storming out and throwing a tantrum, and apparently she expected Bill Belichick to follow her, and Bill Belichick did not follow her, and that pissed her off even more. I'm not trying to, tell Bill Belichick how to live his life, but you got to can her, man. Get her the hell out of here, because she is ruining your reputation. People they're going to think about you as a 6-time Super Bowl award winner, but they're also going to affiliate you with this terrible girlfriend of yours. So
I guess, man, I mean, I'm, worked many years now to just be less judgy, and I want people to be happy. And just because it's not a choice I would make doesn't mean it's not a good choice for you. And, just let them be them. But at the same time, it's fascinating to me that, Bill Belichick in New England, and the reason why he didn't get the job with the Atlanta Falcons is because the thing around him was, if Bill Belichick's in your building, he controls everything. He is so dominant that there's no other voices in the room. And, think about the Patriots, man, as far as like, hey, this is the way we do it. Very militaristic. If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. This is the Patriot way. And I know, like, the GM, Rich McKay of Atlanta, they really talked the Atlanta Falcons owner out of Bill Belichick, because they were worried that they would not have jobs, because Bill Belichick controls every aspect of football operations. And yet in his personal life, and now in North Carolina, a 24-year-old
who has no credentials or experience at any of this stuff
that we're aware of, right? Other than, I don't know, maybe she's good at something else. But I think that to have her
Very
control
skilled.
Bill Belichick to this extent, the dichotomy is absolutely fascinating to me, And you know what? It reminds me that, talking about like the differences, you've got, like, I think of Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is a great leader of young men, and he teaches them a lot of great things about respect, accountability. You can't wear earrings on the practice field or he'll kick you off. And hard work and trusting the process. And, if you watch Prime, if you see Deion Sanders, like the way he coaches anybody else other than his kids on that football team, you're like, that is like old school, great coaching, not just teaching you how to be a good football player, but I'm teaching you to be a man.
I like how Deion Sanders draws the line at earrings and not a $100,000 watch on Shador's wrist.
But that's what I'm saying, Justin, is he doesn't hold, but he's a helicopter parent with his own kids, right? If a parent he got like one of the best quarterback recruits in the country. If that parent was interjecting themselves all the time, Deion would be like, look, you need to let your kid go, let him be a man, let them go through hard times, let them face adversity, let them fail, because you know what? Iron sharpens iron, and that's going to make them be able to succeed in life, not just football. Except for my kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the first meeting with the Cleveland Browns. It's so that dichotomy, that difference is just fascinating to me. And like Bill Belichick is like not a guy to me. And again, it's like if I was dating at 72, 73, if I was dating somebody of that age, she's 6 years old right now. So, you put in perspective like that. And then, I just think like, what would my kids say? It's like, I always kind of thought Steve Belichick was kind of a fool for the way he moved his tongue around. But like, he's I don't know. It's just, it was a bad look.
It's crazy. Like,
I don't like it.
Bill Belichick has,
what do I know?
Bill Belichick has kids who are older than her. And I'm willing to bet that her parents are significantly younger than Bill Belichick.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure.
Maybe Bill Belichick is
made Ali short circuit.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick's like in grandfather range with her at 24 years old.
I mean, I felt weird like being a freshman in college and I was dating a senior in high school and like going over to the house meeting the dad. It's like that was weird.
Yeah.
How would you like to be like, hey, Dad, I want you to meet my boyfriend. His name is Bill Belichick. You're like, excuse me?
Oh, like the coach.
That's weird.
It's like, oh,
he's got the same name as the guy that used to coach New England. No, it is him.
I'm bringing over my boyfriend, Billy. Man, I'm super excited to meet Billy.
I mean,
it's Bill Belichick walking through that door.
Sleeveless hoodie.
Sleeveless hoodie and all.
She's getting her 15 minutes of fame right now. She's making all of it. And I'm sure that if what you're saying is true, the University of North Carolina, at some point, man, you gotta be not afraid of the conflict. You got to run towards conflict, right?
They're afraid. They are seriously concerned about her involvement in everything. Now, it's one thing, like I said,
they need to not sit back and not put it in the press. They need to sit with Bill and say, Bill, we hired you as the head football coach at North Carolina. You brought on Mike Lombardi to be the general manager of North Carolina football. Your girlfriend does not make decisions. And if this doesn't work for you, then we need to figure out something else.
Yeah. Like I said, man, if she was just the supportive girlfriend, calling the shots in his personal life, right? Because, sometimes we all need a partner to lead us. And if that was the case, whatever. But the fact that she's interrupting interviews, throwing a tantrum, and she's actually like making football decisions for Bill Belichick, that to me is very concerning and
petulant. She's
very
a
much
petulant. That just the look on that show. Maybe she's not like that in real life, but I've seen her at like the practices and dressed in like designer clothes and walking around and like making sure like everything on the schedule is going and directing people to do things on a practice field in spring ball. No man.
86er Bill.
There's a great line for you, Bill. Good night, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Whatever. Bye, Felicia. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, again, whatever the relationship and the parameters of that are. If it's his soulmate and she just happens to be 50 years younger than her. Okay, cool. I don't, I'm not judging, but she's a butthole, man. Everything I've seen, she's just an ass.
Yeah. Facts.